Good afternoon. It is now coming up on 6:30, and you are watching Black Sheep Weather. Quick update here on the severe weather possibilities in northwestern Minnesota. Taking a look at the current radar, what we can see is we have a line of storms trying to get its act together from between Grand Forks and Devil's Lake up towards Winnipeg. Those are non-severe, just producing some heavy rain. But it's the area up here between Thief River Falls to Fargo down towards Sisseton in South Dakota. This area south of this front and just along and to the north of it is actually primed for severe weather, and that's why that tornado watch is out in this region from International Falls to Grand Rapids, back down towards Ellendale and Lemoore, North Dakota, back up to Grand Forks, and that expires at 10 p.m. If it's for thunderstorm watch, farther down the line, this is down the cold front from Huron, back down towards O'Neill in North Dakota, covering all the way over to Sioux Falls, down to Norfolk, Nebraska. And that expires at 11. There's another watch out to the west that's far outside of our area. Taking a look at the big picture, there are a few things going on. You can see it is incredibly hot and humid here. Just ignore that little message that pops up. Thinks the radar is still down at Minneapolis, but it's been up for a few hours now. Temperatures are in the low to mid 90s. Dew points are up in the low to mid 70s, which is very unusual for this time of year. If we look in a little closer, Minneapolis International is 95 degrees in Crystal, 93 at Blaine, 91 at Lake Elmo and at Buffalo, and 93 out at Flying Cloud Airport in Eden Prairie. A little bit cooler, Menominee is at 92 up here in New Richmond. Farther up, 93 Cambridge, 93 Princeton, 90 in Rush City, in Mora, and in Hinckley. Moose Lake's at 88. We got McGregor at 88. Zooming in a little more here into the Duluth Metro, you can see where the lakefront is. 66 in Cloquet, 62 up on the hill in Duluth. Down at Sky Harbor Airport, a chilly 52 and 53 in Superior. Along the North Shore, we get the east wind coming in because the land is so warm, we're getting a nice lake breeze. Two Harbors is chilled down to 75. And if we go looking even farther north, you're up in vacation country. We'll pull up the Shania radar out of Thunder Bay. 79 up on the hill in Grand Marais, but 52 if you're down on the beach. So the Bay of Grand Marais is a little chilly. I'm going to jump over to the Dryden radar here. And this is that area we're talking about. Roseau, Baudette, International Falls, down to about Grand Rapids, Bemidji, Crookston. And that is the area the Storm Prediction Center actually has marked out for an increasing chance of tornadoes here. And that is what we're looking at right now. And we're looking for any developments in this area. The stationary front is actually turning more into a cold front, and then we've got a warm front coming off of it. So this area where the trough is, you can see that little dashed orange line, down to Thief River Falls, through just past Roseau, Thief River to Crookston, just west of Fargo. That's now a cold front. The low is sitting right here, right on the border here with Fargo and North Dakota, South Dakota. So actually I'm counting down right here. And then this section into the north, into the Iron Range, into the Duluth area, that is turned into a warm front. And so that's why this area right in here where this triple point is, that is where we have that highest tornado risk, and that is increasing across that narrow corridor across the North Woods. Obviously, we started talking about our heat. It is hot. That's the nicest way to say it. It is hot. As we said, it's currently in the low to mid 90s across most of the southern half of Minnesota, far eastern North Dakota as well, and into eastern South Dakota. Sisseton 95, it is 93 in Madison. Coming into Sioux Falls 95. Dew points are a little lower. They've mixed out a little bit. There's a little bit of a dry line here. Not making that much of a difference, but it's enough. Farther back behind the front, though, temperatures drop dramatically. Redfield, the front's gone through, but it's 86. Dew point 72. Gettysburg 68. The dew point is 66. And Mobridge, farther back in for sure, 66. The dew point is 60. Huron, you've just cleared the front, 91 or 90 degrees over 71 dew point. Sismet, 71, 72. So there's not much of North Dakota actually left in the heat. So it just cleared out here in Gwinner. Last hour it was 90 degrees. Dew point, sweltering 80 degrees. Wahpeton, 93 degrees, 75 dew point. That Fargo down towards Gwinner, towards Wahpeton, that little southeast corner of North Dakota is all that's left in the heat. Minnesota, pretty much the entire state you're baking. I'm taking a look one more time at the radar up here. Switch over and look at Dryden. See a few storms blowing up just southwest of International Falls. A couple of cells bubbling south of Baudette. and a few storms right around Roseau. Let's switch over to the Winnipeg radar, and we'll see those storms actually extend from Kenora, Ontario, through England Inlet in the northwest angle, coming all the way down to Thief River Falls. And those may extend a little further. We're getting out of the range there. There is the front. You can actually barely see it. It's a fine line at this point. From Thief River Falls, splitting Red Lake County down towards Mentor, Fertile, down towards Borup, and then back down towards Argusville and North River, the north side of Fargo. That's where our front is, the actual active front. The depiction here is actually issued every 3 hours, so it's a little behind. But that is where that trigger would be for any strong severe weather that would happen here this afternoon. And again, it's that heat and humidity that is built up across the Iron Range all the way up deep into the North Woods that would be the fuel for that. The other thing we're looking at right now is our excessive rain outlook, and that is pretty substantial because we've got a marginal risk today from Duluth to Sioux Falls, north and west, and that's going to cover the eastern third of South Dakota, the eastern half of North Dakota, and most of Minnesota south of that Duluth, or north rather, of that line from Duluth to Sioux Falls. Day 2, that area shifts south along with the cold front. So we're looking at our excessive rain southwest Wisconsin through Iowa, back down into Nebraska and Kansas, just barely clipping the corner of southeast Minnesota. So basically Houston County, Mower County, that's about it. Day 3, front starts stalling out and we start getting a lot more overrunning happening. So our slight risk expands back to the north, southwest Wisconsin. Looks like right along and south of the US 14 corridor in southern Minnesota, and the slight risk now of excessive rain. The southeastern quarter of South Dakota, and then surrounding that, we have a marginal risk of excessive rain on day 3, which would be Tuesday. Looking at Wednesday, boy, this looks familiar. Most of Wisconsin now in a slight risk. The southern half, basically, of Minnesota is in that slight risk, as is the far southeastern part of South Dakota. So from Sioux Falls back to about Chamberlain, up to Sisseton, and then bring that line all the way up towards Cloquet, over to Green Bay, back down. That would just hit Dubuque, and then back down towards the tri-state of Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri. That area is now in a slight risk, and it doesn't stop there. Day 5, we still have a slight risk for southeast Minnesota, extreme northwestern Iowa, and again, most of Wisconsin into the UP and the northern part of lower Michigan. Slight risk surrounding that from International Falls back down to about Wahpeton, the Sisseton area, just barely west of Sioux Falls, and then most of Iowa, northern Illinois, all in a slight risk. So we're in a heat wave right now for a couple of days, but in the next few days, it is going to cool down into the 70s. We're going to see quite a bit of rainfall possible, and it could be excessive. There could be street flooding. If this comes to pass, we'll definitely see the rivers and lakes start to rise, which we need. We are in the peak of growing season, so right now we can use all the moisture we can get. That is your update here at 6:30. I am JT Lamb, John Lamb, your meteorologist here at Black Sheep Weather. I hope you are staying cool and staying hydrated through this heat and looking forward to some cooler, wetter weather to begin the work week.